Watching Nintendo dudes melt down over the existence of the Steam Deck has been funny. I made a video a while back about how angry a lot of Nintendo guys got after I just pointed out that the Steam Deck exists in response to the Switch 2 being a big pile of overpriced plastic nonsense. Like, sorry, not sorry, the Switch 2 generation is going to be absolutely ridiculously expensive, and what you're going to be getting in return is just not going to be worth it. I'm tired of sugarcoating this. I also think it's hysterical when Nintendo dudes turn around and are like, well, the Switch 2 is so much better than the Steam Deck because the hardware is stronger. Yes, Nintendo dudes finally care about hardware. Isn't that interesting? I mean, Nintendo's been selling you underpowered hardware for like 15 years now, and you were just okay with it because something Nintendo games, but now that the Switch 2 has better hardware than the Steam Deck, because yeah, I would hope it does, the Steam Deck is like 3-4 years old, now all of a sudden the hardware is the selling point and like the trump card. I just find that funny. Made a whole video about that as well. In case you can't tell, my cup kind of runneth over right now with stupid Switch fanboys. But another set of stupid Switch fanboys slithered their way onto my screen. Am I using enough S's for you? Sarah, Samantha, Sam, Samuel, stupid head. But this post came onto my feed the other day from an outlet called Nintendo Life, and it's an article called Opinion. Steam Deck fans are seriously underestimating the Switch 2. And you can read the article for yourself. We're not going to read the whole article. What we're going to do is we're going to read the responses to the post, because those are way funnier. But I did read the article, and the too long didn't read is basically just this Nintendo outlet trying to bury the Steam Deck and hoist up the Switch 2 based on hardware and nothing else. Because again, apparently hardware now matters to Nintendo fans. So it's going to be extra funny when the next generation of Steam Decks inevitably comes out and inevitably has better hardware than the Switch 2. I'm interested to hear what the spin for that is going to be, since apparently hardware is all that matters to you in this very moment. But we're going to look through some of the responses to this tweet, because the tweet of the article got a lot of attention because it's a dog shit article with a dog shit headline. Steam Deck fans are absolutely not underestimating the Switch 2, because that would suggest we even care about the Switch 2. Most of us don't. The only time a Steam Deck fan thinks about the Switch 2 is if they're like, okay, yeah, I'll buy that. Or if they're like, I don't care about that. That's really all it is. Oh, I guess there's the third category of people like me, who are like, hey, as an owner of a handheld with a much cheaper ecosystem and a much more consumer-friendly ecosystem, hey, Nintendo, your ecosystem kind of blows. I mean, yeah, the Switch 2 may have better hardware than the Steam Deck in this very moment, but the Steam Deck also doesn't have, I don't know, $80 games, paid online, restrictive operating systems, no mods. The Steam Deck has a hilariously bigger game library. The Steam Deck is also a full-fledged PC, so there's just more functionality. Like, in every single category that should matter to you when buying a gaming hardware handheld, every category other than specs, the Steam Deck is better, and the Steam Deck is not going to charge you out the butthole every step of the way. Also, extra piece of irony, when the Steam Deck Pro, Steam Deck 2, when it inevitably comes out, you know how many games we're going to have to pay for upgrades for? None of them. We're not going to have to pay for upgrades to use the better hardware, because that's bullshit. There's this wild concept called graphics settings. Maybe you should look into them. But let's just look through the responses to this tweet and the engagements with this tweet, because it is hilarious just how fragile the Nintendo base is. Because like, some of you just can't wrap your head around the fact that a lot of PC gamers, a lot of Steam Deck owners don't see the appeal of the Switch 2, because maybe there's things that the Switch just doesn't do as well as the Steam Deck. You can't fathom that. But I also find it hilarious that the Nintendo guys are now trying to turn the conversation to hardware after 15 years of insisting that hardware didn't matter. Like, ever since the Wii, Nintendo guys have been like, hardware doesn't matter, strong hardware doesn't matter, it's the games that matter, it's the experience that matters. But now that the Switch 2 has better hardware, it's like, oh, well, we automatically win then. It's better than the Steam Deck because we have better hardware. It's just very funny. Let's begin. Cabot says Switch has better GPU, battery life, better screen. I really don't see how the Steam Deck is better. Okay, so all of the aspects of comparison between the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck, all of it is boiled down to technical specs. What are you going to say when the new generation of Steam Decks come out and they have better hardware? Does that mean the Steam Deck is now objectively better than the Switch? No, well, actually the Switch has all these other great things. Okay, great. Why aren't you talking about them now? Oh, because maybe it doesn't actually have much of an advantage outside of the hardware. Maybe Nintendo is just blatantly taking advantage of you and you're just fine with it. Gosh, I wonder why Nintendo's gotten so bad over the last few years. Eldon Cromwell says, does the Steam Deck even actually have fans? Well, evidently yes, because you guys can't stop crying about the comparisons. The comparisons wouldn't be there if there weren't people for you to make the comparisons to. Swindle Squad says it is senseless to compare a console to a PC. Mikio says that's not what's being compared. Two handheld devices are being compared. Steam Deck is not a PC. If you don't have a winning argument, just deny the point exists at all. This person's like, hey, you shouldn't compare a console to a PC, that's just a bad comparison. Which in this case is true. All the points that you're trying to make about the Switch 2, like in the Switch 2's favor in this comparison, all of those points, aside from hardware, all the points about ecosystem, about personalization, about customization, about game preservation, about game accessibility, all of these points are going to be in the Steam Deck's favor because the Steam Deck is a PC, and a PC is fundamentally different from a console. But you don't have a counterpoint to that, so we're just going to deny that the Steam Deck is a PC in the first place. How are you people real? Bo says, y'all ever think about how Steam Deck fans constantly try to bring their console up with the Switch and Switch 2 when the Switch 2 now outpowers it and the Steam Deck didn't even sniff Wii U sales? See, this is what I mean. You're complaining about the Steam Deck and the Switch being compared. You're complaining about these two handheld gaming devices being compared. But then you boil the whole thing down to just the hardware. You ever think about how Steam Deck fans compare their Steam Deck to Switch 1 and Switch 2, even though Switch 2 overpowers them? Okay, what about the other comparisons? Like, you say it yourself. People were comparing the Steam Deck to the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, and your only counterpoint is, well, the Switch 2 is stronger now. But we were comparing it to the Switch 1 as well, and we're still comparing it to the Switch 2. We were comparing the Steam Deck to the Switch both before and after the Switch was more technically powerful. I wonder if there is more to the comparison than just the power, dear boy. Let's see if we can rub our brain cells together and set things on fire. Francisco Ledesma says, according to worldwide pre-orders, it already outsold the Steam Deck, and that doesn't even include the US until tonight. Yeah, when someone compares two things and makes an argument that one of the two things is like a better product and is more consumer friendly and probably a better thing to buy, and your only argument against that is, oh yeah, well, the other thing sold more. Oh yeah, well, I gave my money to the other thing anyways, so there. That's not a good argument. You just look like a bootlicker. Here's another one. The Nintendo Switch 2 is going to outsell the Steam Deck's lifetime sales 3 times over in the first 2 months, and that's going to be hilarious. All the PC troons hyped it up to have people continue to not care about it. Fucking beautiful. Again, it's like people make comparisons between the Switch and the Steam Deck, and your only argument is, oh yeah, well, Nintendo gets more money from it. Ask yourself, is that good or bad? Is it a good thing or a bad thing that Nintendo's making more money off of the machine? Because you don't seem to have any argument as to why your machine is better. Your only argument seems to be that Nintendo makes more money off of you, despite the fact that you can't explain why you're giving Nintendo money. Like, you are objectively the loser in this situation, and you're bragging about it. Snake says they feel threatened for some reason. Boo-hoo, your old handheld console isn't as good as a modern one. Like, yeah, no shit. Wait, Steam Deck owners feel threatened? Because our system isn't as powerful? Again, what is it with Nintendo dudes and suddenly feeling the need to boast about hardware? Like, they're so threatened by the Switch 2 because it's more powerful than their old system. Where was this attitude for the last 15 years? Like, where was it? You guys didn't care about hardware until 5 seconds ago. It's so weird. Matt Masla says they're not underestimating it, they're hating on it because their device won't be as good, and PC is all about power. Having to admit you're being outclassed in the one area you're supposed to win at is an ego hit. If you think PC gaming is only about power, I don't know what to tell you anymore. The Steam Deck in itself is evidence that the PC is not about power. The Steam Deck has done really well, and the handheld PCs have done really well. If PC gaming was all about power, why would those even be a thing? If PC gaming was all about power, why is this what the Steam hardware surveys would look like? Look at what the most popular GPUs on Steam are right now. If PC gaming were all about power and nothing else, why would this be the case? PC gaming is about so much more than power. It's about having the freedom to do what you want with your games. It's about not having to pay exorbitant amounts of money to publishers and corporations who are just trying to take advantage of you. It's about having the ability to play basically any game you want from any console generation you want, because there are no hardware generations or hard locks on what games you can play. You play the games you want to play. It's about having the freedom to mod things, the freedom to create things. You can spend as much or as little on your PC if you want. Being able to spend a lot of money on high-end hardware for super high-end graphics, that is an option that the PC has, along with all these other options that the PC has. It is not all about power. It never has been. It's an advantage, but it's not what it's about. And if this is what you think of PC gaming, I'm not surprised why you don't understand this comparison. But again, Nintendo dudes have been so desperate for technical W's, they're just gonna hold on to this for as long as they can. One more, because I can only do one more. Bellumat says Steam Deck fans are just a noisy minority. This device sold 3 times less than Wii U. Yes, the niche product, the relatively niche product, in the grand scheme of things, the niche handheld product sold less than the Nintendo console. Who gives a shit? How is that a win over the system? How is that a comparison of the system? You guys keep saying Steam Deck fans are like, they're underestimating, they're hurt, they're threatened. If we're so threatened, why are you the one that keeps bringing up sales numbers? If we're the ones who are so threatened by Nintendo, why is your side of the fence absolutely incapable of defending Nintendo in any way other than money amounts? That's not an argument. My God, it's just like, you people are insane. You're so happy about giving Nintendo all of your money, and it makes no sense. But, you know, keep comparing it. I welcome you to keep comparing the Switch to the Steam Deck, because it's just going to keep giving me content, and the comparison is not going to get any better for you. Ugh, I love making videos. I love talking about this stuff. It's so much fun. Okay, Doofus Club time. Big Tech sucks ass. Tom from Spokane. Dial up. Kyle Ward 789 cents. Nakage and non voila. Hey, it's Maddie Master Killer. Jumba da bomb de fuck you Joe Taylor Fort. Okay. The Return of the King but upside down. Not Batman. Partial Mean 8. Wild Gamer 2001. JJ Dusty tickles my toes in the middle of the night. Moltheme. Binary Deviant. Voxalto. Cloaked Onyx. And Omega. JJ Dusty. Hail Denuvo Podcod. Stop it, Joe. You should play Drakengard for the PS2. Joe, it's the Gamer 127YT, not 127WT. Got it memorized. The Death Rider Raven. Joe lied to me. He never joined voice chat. Celerot, Gold Pyrac, Zombie Fan, Eldorado 1, Penguin, Piss, Doug, Nigsy, Smile, Blast 1314, Snake Eyes 327, Devastator 2000, Edge Knight 1789, Joe, please let us touch tip, you sexy man, Sad Your Freighter, MK2396E, I'm still in the moat, Joe, please get help, Hentai, X Machina Gamma, Elite Wolf, Fire Hazard 105, Epion 504, Klepto Penguin, Banshee, GWXSS, Doom Kaiji, Rast the Wolf, Evan Co, Okie Toodles, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Really Zerg, Gaming Dead People, Bender Fondue, All Games Video, Japanese name I can't read, Max Killer V2 Gaming, Biscuit 1101, Todd Howard is our Lord and Savior, Horizon Forbidden West Remastered, Pope Rocket the Rat King, Jessica Shepard, Riki's Power, Riki Tiki Daddy, Riki Tiki Tabby Muskie, as stupid as humanly possible for the next read. Crewman the Steel Angel, Am I a Hipster Doofus? Sergeant Jason Bond, Baron von Vaterholm, Cyrus, forgot to change my name, now I can't afford to fix it. True Tech Skin 940, wait, Joe, improv this name to an X-Wing, a Lego X-Wing fighter. Hanoka's #1 Saudi fan, Creed Warrior 23, Maxachev, the Herman's Vid Curse is finally broken, Chap, Totally Insane, Vendetta Audrey, Black Cobra, and leader of the Doomslayer cult. Knight of Cypher, Reborn Me with a fan art, ML04, Iron 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray. What the fan art, Switch 2 is more of a scam than PS5 Pro, Wolf of Midnight, Sick Rider with Big B, Niz, Kev Dog 19 1992, Steve Williams Studios, Film Kraken, OM Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thornscape, Magnex, Severin, Evans, Mr. Sparring 03, it's the Carolina Fricker, Y Mixer, Pow Pow, Y Trouble, Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan is eating Joe's Nuggies as we speak, Gob Gobson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinner, Grimsy, Polska Guram, Hangman for Hire, Eldon the Noble, Frost Crystal, Jimmy Shops, Biogenesis, Ian Action, Floppy Pingus 97, Manga Key, Krishka, the Scruffy Skull, Ghost Ho, Remember to Tell Nintendo, Lower Your Prices, Judge 06, Vast Grove, Femtanga, Raptor Tim, The Amazing Blight Man, Blue Hook, Willie JJ, Chinol Laxon, Show Us Your Feet, Joe, Don't Be a Pussy, Jody Breeze, Smitty Worker, Jaeger Man Jensen, MX, Lurel Massimo, McAdvertisement, Diego Garcia, Oblivion Remake is coming, Yahoo! JJ Dusty, A. Mike Kibikins, I American Idiot, Rebel Blood 80, Antoine Horton, Oracle, I ordered pizza from Papa Joe's, oh no, it's Justin, Randroid, Toonie Wayne, Mechanical Resonance, Extreme Wolf 7, Joey Scoops, My Name is Mud, Joe Taku, My Chemical, Joe Mance, Oohee, Oohaha, Ting Dang, Walla Walla, Big Bang Remastered, Wannabe Hoa, Jidge, Westside Bullet 310 Char, Rob C, Chicken, Jockey Veg, The Group of Banana, Curtin Allen's back, The Scrum Master, How Do You Cope When You're Popeless and Jopeless? I think that was the best read I've done in a while. That one was really, really good. That one was really, really good. We did that one so fast. You didn't do anything. I did everything. Okay, toodles.